Hello everybody. If my math is correct, this is day 101. It has been a minute and I apologize for that. Life has been extremely busy and something had to give, and unfortunately these videos were just one of them. But let's catch up. So checking in, let's start with running. My goodness, last week I had a really good volume. I believe I was over 13 hours of running alone, you know, with some hiking. That's not counting the hiking. It got, I think I have to look back, but climbing was really good. My long run alone was over 6,000 feet of climbing. I did that over in the hilly neighborhood on the road once again. If you can see kind of across the river there, we've still got plenty of snow and ice. So I haven't been up to the forest. I've heard some folks have been on the service roads, and they're still icy in spots, but getting more runnable. We're expecting some rain here tomorrow and Friday, which will hopefully diminish the snow down even further. So I've been using the treadmill a lot. We've kind of had a mix of weather and between school cancellations and virtual learning. I've just had to be home a lot for my kids. So I've used that more than I'd like. But, you know, again, it's better than nothing. So yeah, last week had a good fartlek run for a workout. Did some hill strides on Saturday. I think if we talk mileage, I was a little over 87 miles last week, which again, I've switched solely over to time-based. I'm not paying attention to mileage, but just kind of saw that at week's end. Took Monday off. Kind of going back to, you know, some of the things that I felt I needed in my training after that long run Sunday, which was a 3.5 hour run, 6,000 feet of gain, a little over 5,000 feet of loss. So, you know, 11,000 feet of change in just over 19 miles of running. Felt Monday was a good day to take off. And I was really happy with the long run. The last 2 weekends have been over in the hilly neighborhood. The weekend before, I kind of was just figuring out where I could get the most vert in the neighborhood, and I did 3 hours. I got a little over 4,000 feet of climbing, which was still great. But you know, this weekend I just was able to run the whole thing. Been adding a little bit of weight each week to my pack to kind of get used to that. This week I'm gonna kind of back off the long run a little bit, maybe 2.5 hours, potentially 3 if I'm feeling okay. But my plan is a week from Saturday or Sunday, depending on what day is better, probably Sunday, I'm gonna do a 50K plus effort. I'm anticipating the snow being pretty much gone, so my hope is to run shut in and then summit Mount Pisgah and run back. It's about, I think it's about 34, 35 miles, somewhere in there, and around, oh goodness, 8,000 to 9,000 feet of gain. So, you know, that's my goal, is what I'm looking at. Doing my first real long effort of the year. Climbing lakes feel great. Like I said, I ran the whole thing. I didn't walk any of the hills in my long run Sunday. So climbing lakes are feeling really good. I did a progression run on the treadmill yesterday and was just kind of watching my heart rate. Got down to 6:20 pace for the last mile, which actually felt pretty smooth. Didn't actually get to my lactate threshold, so that's positive. Yeah, I should still go a little bit faster. Wasn't trying to push too much, just trying to see how my legs are doing, how my body's responding. Did a core routine after that, and then got my son out finally for a run. His track season's coming up, so wanted to get him going again. And I made it about 1.5 miles with him. He decided I was running too slow, so he took off. I didn't really have the legs to keep up, so I got 40 minutes in with Miles. Just kind of shook the legs out. I feel really good today. Body recovered really well. So recovery has been going so much better. Even though last night was a bit short of sleep. Recorded a podcast last night, and that kind of put me behind a little bit, which was great. I spoke with the ultra running guys. They have their own podcast, but we spoke about mistakes that we've made in races and how we feel we can remedy them. And we all kind of chimed in with ideas and things that are going on. I really enjoyed the episode. Newsletter also came out yesterday, which these are all reasons why I haven't been doing the videos. It's just been a lot just to keep up with all the ancillary things I'm doing, plus the training. So just trying to figure things out. And like I said, track starts pretty soon, so I'll have to throw coaching into the mix for track. So but the newsletter is out. I'll put a link in the description. Some really cool articles that I wrote. My guest last week was adaptive athlete Zach Friedley on the podcast, and really enjoyed my talk with him. I wrote an article about how we could be more inclusive in our sport. I also wrote an article about base phase, how to do a good aerobic base, as well as how to be holistically prepared for an event. You know, for an event like Bigfoot, I feel that there's 4 elements that I need to be prepared for. You know, gear is always an important piece to think about, and think what you're going to need, what could possibly come up that you could use X, Y, or Z. Obviously physical, your training. Mental, you know, how are you going to break this race down? How are you gonna stay within yourself? How are you gonna be mindful? Stay in the moment, think about your needs. And then spiritual. So again, how are you gonna be mindful? How are you gonna relax and just take each step and know that each step you take is one closer to the finish? So, you know, it was a pretty good newsletter. Lots of stuff in there. So that's out. It's on my website. If you didn't subscribe, you can also subscribe on the website, mrrunningpains.com. But it's under the connect page. All my old newsletters are archived in there. So yeah, lots going on. Was really thrilled to watch the Milrose games. I'm just a big fan of running. You know, my background was cross country and track and field, and the Milrose games, the high school mile, was like a huge goal of mine in high school. Unfortunately, I never got to do it. I just missed qualifying, but still love, you know, watching, seeing all these athletes putting it on the line, watching racing strategies, and oh, it's just, it was so exciting. The Wanamaker Mile, Nick Willis, who I talked about in a previous video, he tried to break 4 minutes on New Year's in New York City. This would be his 20th year of breaking 4 minute mile, and man, he just did it. He ran 3:59.8, so he broke it. That was cool. And just seeing some of these huge names, you know, Cooper Tier and Cole Hawker going at it in the 3K, and then what an exciting finish. A guy from On Athletics, a New Zealander, snuck up and came on the inside and took both of them at the tape. It was pretty incredible. So, you know, just watching these things, just listened to a great book actually on my long run. One of my athletes suggested it, and we're going to talk about it for our book review from the team, but it's called Mighty Mo. Her name is Maureen Wilton. What a fantastic book. It talks about, you know, what women went through in the early days of running in order to try to gain equality in races. Maureen was 13 years old, I believe in 1967 or 68, when she broke the world best for the marathon, and everybody questioned whether she had run the full distance. It was pretty incredible. Real touching book, especially to hear about everything women went through just to be on the same starting line and be able to run the same distances as men. So great book. It was actually my book of the month in the newsletter. Really enjoyed that. So I think next up for my audiobooks, I'm gonna listen to Jason Koop's second edition of his book. I've always talked about that one. I think it's a great resource, but love to be able to read, but like I said earlier, I'm just trying to find time to get everything done right now. and still be a dad. So as for today, I'm doing a split recovery run. And this split recovery run will consist of 2 1 hour runs, excuse me, followed by 30 minutes hiking on the treadmill at incline. So good volume day. It's 3 hours total of work. And then tomorrow, my medium long run, which I promised a video on, it just didn't happen. So hopefully tomorrow I'll bring the camera along and we can talk about the medium long run. If you're interested in hearing about the medium long run, there's a great podcast, the Running Rogue podcast. That's you can listen to. I think it was 2 weeks ago. He talks about the medium long run and what's so important about it, and why should we have a secondary, long run. Although it's not as long as your long run, there's such value in adding it. So I'll try to go into more detail tomorrow. Anyway, it's good catching up with you guys. Like I said, I'll hopefully catch up with you guys tomorrow for the medium long run.